it be my way.
Hey, what's going on, Blursters? Hey, we're back with another mini review, and tonight I'm going to be talking about Zom 100, the anime and the live action, and a comparison of the both. Because right now, I think Zom 100 is about 5 episodes in. I think they have a new episode every Sunday, and as soon as the anime dropped, they went ahead and dropped the live action as well. So with that being said, I'm going to compare the both of them and pull on points that were good in the anime, points that were good in the live action, and how they compare. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it, and hope y'all enjoy. So so Zom 100 follows the one main character, which is Akira. And I'm talking about this man, how it all started with him is he found this job, and you know how you are with your first job, well, not your first job, but your first day of your job, whatever. You're just excited, you want to learn what's going on, you want to be the best that you can be, like the, hey, I'm just so excited to be here. So, in the anime, that's how it starts off. It's starting off with him just having all this enthusiasm about working at this new job and things of that nature. And then, it went from, okay, this is going to be great, to him realizing it was going to be a soul-sucking job. Like, it was to the point where this man wasn't even going home. Like, he was spending all his time at work because he had so many reports and things to file away and things of that nature. Whatever, he quickly found out he didn't have a life outside this job. But in the beginning stages of him, coming into this job or whatever, the people seemed nice. His leadership team, seemed like they're going to be on the up and up and things of that nature or whatever. And he even meets a girl. Most of any show like this starts off with meeting the girl, and he meets this one girl, and she's just she's sweet and she's beautiful and everything like that. He's just like, oh man, this is gonna be great. I can't wait to excel in this job and show her, like, I'm good at what I do and I can be successful or whatever have you. So as time progresses on, he notices things within the job, and he notices things within himself too. Because I think in the anime, like, it wasn't until like maybe his fourth day he actually was able to come home, like, because he had damn near been living there and working there at the job. So he was finally able to come home or whatever have you. Now, as things are moving forward and progressing, that love interest he knows that love interest was the side chick of the boss. And he was just like, oh, wow, I can't believe that. And blah, 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 I really love her. Like, he was in love with her, love at first sight or whatever have you. So, when he, sees what's going on, he's just still trying to move forward, and he still feels like, I'm going to get her to notice me and things of that nature, whatever. All the while he's trying to survive this soul-sucking job, So, and then even in live action, it follows kind of the same storyline as well. But the only difference between the two is, in a live action, it only showed him being there for 1 year. Now, granted, how soul-sucking the job is really depending on what you think is soul-sucking. Because in the anime, he had been there for 3 years. So imagine 3 years of your life gone, like, without you even realizing that you had wasted your life away, versus 1 year. So I do think in that regard, the anime was more realistic. Like, if you're in a soul-sucking job and you've been there for 3 years, you're going to really feel the effects of it. A year, you can feel the effects of it in a year as well, but I don't think it was really a need to change that up. I think it made more sense that he had been putting more time into it, just to find out my life has been gone and wasted away, and I've been doing nothing but this job. So in the anime, he kind of had a come to Jesus moment and was just like, this is just my life. This is all I have, and blah, blah, blah. And he had got a notice on his apartment door or whatever about a payment that need to be made and things of that nature. Because, like I said, he wasn't really there. Like, his whole life was at the job. So, as he's going down there to talk to the landlord and things of that nature, whatever, they said, somebody's feasting on the damn land, no, on the landlord or whatever. And I say that because when you start this anime, you just assuming like the zombie part of it is him being in a soul sucking job, because you can even see it in his face and all his coworkers' faces. They just all their life was drained away working at this job. But going back to the landlord or whatever, he's seeing the landlord being pretty much eaten by something or whatever, another human being or whatever. So, in his tiredness and worry, he's just like, what is going on? So, next thing you know, what's attacking him is a zombie. So he's like, huh? And like I said, you gotta realize this is a man that really has nothing else outside of his work. So he just kind of drawn back or whatever. Next thing you know, the zombie tries to attack him. He's like, oh shit. Run away or whatever. And he's running away or whatnot. And then as he's running away, he's seeing more and more zombies or whatever. But the crazy part about it is, because the job is so soul sucking, and because he's so worried about the job and what he needs to do in his work life and all that, things of that nature, he's like, oh man, I'm gonna be late for work. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna, like, you're getting rushed by zombies and your thought is, how am I gonna get to work? Like, am I gonna be late? Are they gonna mark me absent? Like, nothing really clicked to him at first until he was just like, wait a minute, if this is happening here, it's probably happening everywhere. And he's like, I don't have to go to work. So, and essentially the same thing was in the live action. He came to that realization, like, I don't have to go to work. This is the first time I don't have to go to work. And that's why I draw back to the 3 years and the 1 year, because to get that feeling of release after being there for 3 years and feel like I can finally have a day off versus 1 year, I feel like are two different feelings. But anywho, or whatever, in the anime or whatnot, he's running upstairs trying to get away from these zombies and things of that nature. But at the same token, he's happy, he's elated, he's just like, oh my god, I'm finally about to have a day off or whatever. So, when he comes to that realization, he escapes the zombies or whatnot, he just takes a breath and just bask in the world. Because you gotta think, he's been in that office, he's been in his house, he doesn't really see the outside. He is damn near zombified, because none of that is even in his in his vision or whatever. His whole vision is work, 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 work. So I'm talking about, he was just able to take a breath and like, like, I have a day off. I can do whatever I want to do. There's so much things I need to catch up on. It took him to look like, oh my God, it's been years that I've just wasted here, and I just never took time to myself or whatever have you. And then he starts, getting flashbacks of, about a friend of his. But even before he thinks about a friend of his, he thinks about that woman that we mentioned earlier in the show that he was in love with or whatever. So he was like, oh, I gotta go make sure she's okay or whatever. I gotta make sure she's good and things of that nature. So he essentially gets his laptop and I guess uses the files to find where she's staying at or whatever have you. And lo and behold, when he makes it in there, his boss, which, like I said, she was a side chick to his boss, was zombified. Like, he was swollen up, he was zombified, like, and he's just like, oh my God, like, and then in this moment, he's still feeling like, sir, I have to tell you, I quit, like, I resigned or whatever, almost like this was his own doing, like, he made this decision on his own. But no, it's a whole zombie attack, man. Like, it don't matter at this point. So, the boss zombie, proceeds to attack him or whatever. He bodies that zombie or whatever because, I forgot to mention in the beginning, he used to play rugby. That was his sport or whatever. And for people that aren't familiar with rugby, it's really like, more closer to football and everything like that. So he basically tackles that zombie and he pushes him off the balcony or whatever and everything like that. And then he turns around to find the girl of his dreams was in there or whatever, just to find out she got turned to a zombie as well. He was just like, oh, come on, man. Like, that's almost like that was his last hope of love, essentially. He was like, oh, man, I can't believe this. Like, she's been changed or whatever, and now I gotta body her too. And then basically after he shook her, he got up out of there and was rushing back home. And then you gotta think with a zombie attack or whatever, that means there's less people using up data and the internet and things of that nature or whatever. And he finds he still has connections. He still can call people and things of that nature. And he starts thinking back to his friend, which is Kencho, another character that gets introduced, another one of the main characters of the show or whatnot. And he finds Kencho's number or Kenchiro's number, and he's like, "Hey, bro, where are you? Like, we need to talk because previously there was a flashback of in the midst of his soul sucking job, he was having drinks with his friend, but then they got into an argument or whatever because his friend was like, "Hey, man, you need to leave that job, man. If it's draining you like that, then that's not where you need to be. You need to do what you want to do and be happy." And of course, he's just like, "Man, you don't know what you're talking about. This is my life, blah blah blah." And then they got into a heated debate about that. Now, in the live action, it more so follows the same trends as far as him having a flashback, him, getting to his friend and everything like that or whatever. So, his friend was a real estate agent, and his friend was held up in, I guess, like a sex house, per se, or whatever. And that's the last place he was at when the zombie attack, went forward or whatever. So in anime, what Kensho does is he blows up a car or whatnot and makes sure it's making noise to draw the zombies away from wherever his friend is at. And then he is, finally gets to him and, saves him, takes him out of there or whatever have you. And like I said, in the live action, it's kind of a little different. In the live action, he was more so, he drew them away, but it was a different way of doing it. Like, he just had a speaker, a beat speaker. He put it down somewhere and, let them get attracted to it and basically put on his rugby gear and was piling through these people, piling through these zombies or whatever, which to me was just a little less smarter than the anime because I'm like, you're at risk of getting bitten and you decide I'm gonna put on this rugby gear and I'm just gonna bulldoze through y'all so I can make it my friend. Like, I felt like that was real reckless for him to do versus the anime where it was like getting them attracted to the noise so you could just slide right in, get your friend and get out. But then previously Kensho I'm sorry. Previously Akira had met another character which is probably like one of the third main characters, and her name is Shizuka. And Shizuka is very smart. Live action and anime, she's very smart or whatnot. And, like I told you previously, in the midst of him realizing, like, I ain't got to go back to work, this man wanted a beer. This is what he had his mind on. Like, I want to go get me a beer. I want to have a drink. I want to enjoy my life. And that's what he did. So he took it upon himself to go to a gas station market or whatever, food mart, and go get some supplies and stuff, which was beer and snacks and all that stuff or whatever have you. And then that's when he runs into Shizuka, and Shizuka is just looking at him like, "Are you stupid? Like, you risking your life for beer and snacks and all that? Like, you're not trying to get any essentials and things of that nature?" He like, "Hell no, I'm just trying to live my life or whatever have you." And on his way to head to the food mart, he runs into his neighbors, and his neighbors, was downstairs. It was a husband and a wife, and the wife was pregnant. And, they're over there trying to figure out how we going to get out of here and things of that nature. And here he coming down the pipe or whatever because he's just an athletic person or whatever. He's coming down the pipe. He's like, "Hey, you guys need anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, we could use, some ramen, this is that and the third or whatever if you don't mind." He's like, "Sure thing." And we're gonna get back to why that's significant in both the anime and the live action. So fast forward back to Shizuka or whatever. Basically she just didn't really want anything to do with Akira for the main fact that she just felt like he didn't value the situation. He didn't value life or or had a plan or whatever have you. And then in the live action. Funny thing is, this man wanted to get a beer and wanted to get a steak, and he got to where he cooked the steak and everything, had his beer, and this man had no steak sauce. And then he took it upon himself to go to the store so he could get steak sauce. And that was a little bit different in his reasoning for going to the gas station and everything to get what he needed. As far as supplies goes or whatever, because you got one in anime, all he wanted was beer and snacks. Another one in live action, I want a steak and I want some beer. I want that's what I want. That's what I need right now, and I'm willing to go risk my life to go get some steak sauce for it. Again, similarities to where this kind of makes a little more sense than this one here, but as we go back to it or whatever, in both the live action and anime, Shizuka is very smart. She's very driven. She understands. Okay, this is the situation. This is what I need to do. This is what I need to survive, and with that being said or whatnot, in the anime, as they're having a dialogue and things of that nature, she's really not focused on him because she's already trying to see what's coming and what she can do to get out of that situation after getting her essentials or whatever. Because she had a whole camera like on her bicycle so she could monitor who and what was coming before it even got to her or whatever, which again very smart. And the Shizuka in the live action was, like I said, was more so the same or whatever. But with that being said, the live action covers basically these 5 episodes that you're gonna see now. The next episode will be dropping Sunday, and it'll be episode 6. But with all that being said or whatnot, it was just a lot of crazy going on. And I mean, this is a comedy, but it's kind of a horror as well with zombies and things in the mix or whatever have you. But I mean, it is enjoyable, just to see something different outside of the regular shonen animes and stuff that we see. But it's funny because when Akira finally got to his friend and saved his friend started having a come to Jesus moment. His friend started feeling like, man, I'm not really as high up on the totem pole as I thought I was. He's just like, nah, I'm not worth saving, go on without me, things of that nature, whatever. And, Akira was like, wait a minute, I risked my life to come get you and you trying to tell me that you just about to give up? Nah, he wasn't going for it. So Kishiro finally, got the will to do what he needed to do and run away with Kencho so they could, just do what they wanted to do and everything like that. Again, in the live action, more so the same, but it wasn't as dramatic. Now, the anime was real dramatic. Like, these jokers was jumping off of rooftops and stuff like that just to get to where they need to go, whatever. Versus in the live action, it was more so, like I said, risky, trying to get through these zombies without them noticing you and things of that nature, whatever. But one thing I will say, or at least to me, is what a big difference is between the live action and the anime. In the live action, it was more so all these 3 main characters became friends real fast. Of course, in the anime, not so much. In the anime, it's like, okay, he goes and get his friend, and basically Shizuka ain't really fooling with him. He been trying to get her math for a minute, and some of y'all don't know what math means. It means her number or whatever have you. Just in case, not too much on y'all though. But yeah. So with that being said or whatnot, that was a I think to me a big difference in what's going on in both of them is just the friendship building, or like the what's the word I'm looking for, the friendship building and all that was just a little different or whatever have you. And as the story progresses in the anime or whatnot, basically now that Akira got his friend, they're just living their lives. His friend can cook and his friend want to be a comedian and things of that nature. And little did Kenshiro know, Akira had been developing a list, like a top 100 list of everything he wants to do before he gets turned into a zombie. Not 100 things he wants to do to not become a zombie. He's using this list to make things that he wants to do before he becomes a zombie, because he essentially feels like at some point it's going to happen, but until then I'm going to live my life. Then versus Shizuka's character, whatever, she's just doing everything she can to survive. She's not trying to have a team. She's not trying to, have fun, essentially. She's just focused on being tactful, trying to figure out how she's going to get out of the situation, and not even trying to be a part of the team. So that goes pretty much both ways in both the anime and the live action as well. And like I said, as the story progresses or whatever, Akira is basically living a gamer life essentially. He started off with transporting himself with a bicycle to getting a motorcycle. Motorcycle ended up being something on his list, which I think is cool. But then again, if you're into zombie flicks or whatever, noise attracts zombies. So you just like, maybe that's not the smartest thing, but then again, it is, because you want something fast, want something agile, so that way you can get through all these, zombies and whatnot. But as the story progresses or whatever, Akira and Kenshiro are basically on a store run. So Akira got a bright idea. He was like, "Hey yo, I want a big screen TV." and Kenshiro looking at him like, "What? Yeah, I want a big screen TV. He was like, "That's what I want." And then he was like, "All right, let's do it." So they go on this journey to go find a big screen TV, and this is in the anime. That's what he was in search for, was a big screen TV to add to his collection of things that he was doing. So as they're doing that, they end up going into like this mall or whatever have you, just to find that there's some other people that are alive that's been hiding in there. Because what was going on is Akira and Kenshiro were being chased, so they found a way to get in this like subway-ish looking thing, and they had storage doors and everything like that to wherever they went into these different stores. So they were able to evade the zombies and get into one of the storage units or whatever, and come find out it was a whole like liquor store with food and things of that nature in there. And they end up meeting two flight attendants, and I want to say a captain. I can't remember if he was for real a captain or not, but I do know it was two flight attendants for sure and a captain. And funny thing is, having drinks and eating with two flight attendants was on Akira's list of things to do for whatever reason. So, and again, that differs a little bit from the live action as well. Though they were flight attendants and things of that nature, the things that transpired were a little different. So once they're in there or whatever, they're chopping it up with the girls, because it's three flight attendants and it's one pilot. And the anime. In the live action, it was only two flight attendants and one captain or whatever. That's where that differs. So I apologize for that one. So they're chopping up with them because basically they're stuck in there until those zombies get away or whatever. Everybody's just kind of stuck in there. So they're drinking, they're laughing, shooting the shit or whatever. And another thing on Kira's list was finding a girlfriend or whatever too. So and you gotta think Akira's kind of socially awkward as well, because you gotta think this is a man that hasn't really been living life or speaking with anyone other than people that he works with or whatever for a while. So they're talking, they're having a good time and things of that nature or whatever. And come to find out, the captain's been bit, and that's something that never fails in any zombie flick. People get bit and don't nobody say nothing. They think they're gonna be all right until they not all right, and it's just like, man, y'all gotta stop that, man, because sometimes a lot of that stuff can be avoided. But then again, that's probably what has to drive the story. So I digress. But I will say for both of those, it was the same situation. The captain was bitten, didn't say anything until he turned and tried to get everybody else or whatever have you. Now Kenshiro's character, he has charisma. The anime, that man has a lot of charisma. If he want this girl, he gonna get a girl or whatever. In the live action, not so much. He was a little awkward in live action versus the anime. The anime, he was like a dead ass jock or whatever. This one, he was like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. But they were too different or whatever have you. But in both of them, as it proceeds or whatever, the captain ends up getting a hold of the flight attendants and biting them. So now it's going from us all having a good time to them getting out or whatever. So basically, Kira and Kenshiro bum rushing the spot because, the flight attendants and everybody else in their turn. So it's like, all right, we need to get up out of here. But for some reason, Kenshiro manages to find the TV that Akira wants. And they take that thing, put it on the motorcycle, and they haul ass. And I'm just like, I just feel like some things are more important. But that's how that happened or whatever. In the live action, he wasn't necessarily looking for a TV. In the live action, he was searching for something else. I forget what it. No, in the live action, I don't even think he was searching for anything. I think they just got caught up in in saving the people, because in the live action, Shizuka is in this bus, and this is the bus that's full of people, and like I said, the flight attendant and the captains are the people that came from that bus. So in the live action, they made it into the store and things of that nature, and so in the live action, Akira, what he wanted was an RV. For some reason, he wanted an RV or whatever. That was his thing, and he had saw one on their way to coming to the store. He was like, "Hey, yo, Kenshiro, that's what I want. See, that's the RV I wanted, man. Let's do that." And Kenshiro was like, "Hey, man, we need to go. We need to get away from these zombies, and we can worry about that later or whatever." So in the live action, they make it out of the store finally or whatever. And like I said, at this point in the game, Shizuka is there with them. Now in the anime, she wasn't. She wasn't nowhere near them or anything like that. She was still out there doing her own thing, trying to figure stuff out. But in the live action, she was with them. And basically they fought their way out of fought their way the same with the zombies and the flight attendants. They fought their way up out of that as well, and got out there and hopped in the RV. And that's where things kind of skip along or whatever. And I think it's just because it's a movie, they try to crunch what they can into that movie or whatever. But a lot of the elements didn't have to change. They really could literally follow the same dynamic of the anime, but for some reason they decided to make changes. But anyways, as it progresses or whatever, in the live action, they get in this RV, and apparently at that time, Shizuka was headed to basically like a safe haven or whatever, and it was an aquarium or wherever there some people were held up at, and apparently it was a safe haven or whatnot. So their plan was to head up there. All of them together was to head up there. Now versus live action, you didn't even get to that point yet or whatever. There were still other things going on before they even decided that this aquarium was going to be the point of place to go to or whatever have you. But back to the anime, we talk about the TV and everything like that, and then you gotta think, this is a whole apocalypse thing going on or whatever. And the funniest thing to me was Akira had a TV and a game system hooked up to a generator and was playing a zombie game. I'm over here looking like, with everything going on, you want to use your power and resources for that? Come on, listen now. That part of it, I was like, that's wild. There's so many better things you could be doing with that power and things of that nature. But again, I digress, because you gotta think, Akira's in this state of mind. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna have fun. If anything is to happen to me or whatever, is gonna be what it's gonna be. I lived my life. So so then fast forward to the live action or whatever. The crew makes it to this aquarium and things of that nature, and it is as it is, a safe haven. Like nothing was infected yet. There were still fish and things like that in the aquarium that people were able to use for food and everything like that. But come to find out, Akira runs into his old boss Gonzo, and he thought he was dreaming. He was like, ain't no fucking way. Like Gonzo, his boss, was there. And essentially Gonzo and his team were facilitating that area. They made it a safe haven, but to an extent. It's like they had people working for them. In the midst of an apocalypse, you had people working and doing inventory and things of that nature. And basically Akira got placed back into what he thought he had broken out of. And that part to me was kind of like, damn, like all this time you've been trying to live your life, just get sucked back into a job, which really wasn't a job, but that's how they was running the facility or whatever. Now versus the live action, that didn't happen. They made it to the aquarium, but his boss or whatever was nothing to sight. Maybe that's more that'll be shown as the season goes on, because like I said, there are only 5 seasons in now. But the live action movie pretty much covers those 5 seasons of the series. But with that being said, they're in there, they're working, and then the same husband and wife that he had saw earlier that he had thought had died, they were working there as well or whatnot, and like I said, it was more so you had a hierarchy. So Gonzo and his people were getting steak, lobster, and all that, while everybody else was subjugated to just rations and things of that nature or whatever, you know. And then the craziest part though was um, a zombie shark. So apparently, some zombies got loose. In both the anime and live action, some zombies had got loose and ate a shark and infected the shark and essentially was controlling the shark. Like the shark had about 6 legs that were zombie legs, and this joke was going ham on everybody. Well, in the live action more so, it was going ham on just the three main characters, which was, like I said, Akira, Kenshiro, and Shizuka or whatever. But in the live action, basically what it was is they had a way of how they would do exchanges and get deliveries and things of that nature. They would even use the zombies as kind of like a alarm system for anyone that would be trying to come in and take from the spot or whatever, take from their rations and everything like that or whatever. But somehow a zombie had got into one of the trucks and infiltrated the camp, and everything just went awry. So you got people running around like, oh shit, like zombies are coming in, biting everybody they can. And then live actions when you finally see that shark. And the shark was, like I said, again, was a wild concept. Like, what the hell is this shark doing here or whatever? Because in the anime, the whole reason they came to the aquarium is because Akira wanted this suit that was going to make him a superhero. Because being a superhero was another thing that got put on his list of things to, that he wanted to do before, he got turned into a zombie. But now in the live action, he's aware of the suit because that's what they was there to get in the live action. But Suzuka went there because she found out it was a safe haven. But basically at this point or whatever, Akira had to get broken out of his concept of, I'm back to working again, this is where I belong, I'm gonna be subjugated to do this for the rest of my life type deal or whatever. And his friends had snapped him out of it in the midst of this, zombie shark, zombie invading the aquarium thing or whatever have you. So that whole thing with the shark was wild because like this shark was relentless, and there was countless times where they could have took this shark out. Like in the live action, Kencho was in a whole forklift. He could have impaled the shark, but for some reason didn't. Like I said, maybe that just made too much sense. In the anime, none of that was in sight. The only thing they had was the suit that Akira had procured or whatever. And it was a swimsuit that couldn't be punctured by teeth or whatever, like from sharks and things of that nature. So they would basically make him invulnerable to zombies as well. So basically there's a big boss fight in both the live action and the anime where Akira is fighting the shark in his suit or whatnot, and in both of them Shizuka is in there. Am I saying her name? Yeah, Shizuka is in there, and she comes up with a bright idea. She was like, hey, if you get these batteries, it should be able to emit some type of electromagnetic force that can knock the shark out or whatever. It's like, even though it's zombified or whatnot, it should still be able to work. So in both animes, that was the run of the mill thing that was going to happen, to where it could take the shark out, which they were successful in it. It was touch and go, but they were successful in it or whatnot. But with that being said, I'm definitely over my time, but I tried to crunch as much as I could of both the anime and the live action in the comparison of both of them or whatever. But if you're into zombies, you're into comedy, you're just into, crazy shit essentially, whatever, Zom 100 is definitely something, you want to catch. It's currently now streaming on Netflix. Like I said, they're 5 episodes in. I think the new episode is dropping on Sunday, which will be episode 6. The live action is already complete. I think it came out the same time that the anime came out. So, you're able to view both of them on Netflix right now. And, like I said, I think y'all enjoy it. It's something interesting I've been watching and whatnot. So, y'all definitely stay tuned. I promise y'all the next movie review won't be this long. I'll be talking about From. It's and they're 2 seasons in. It's that the second season ended a couple of months ago, I think, and I've been meaning to talk about it. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned from that. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Also, we have our season finale coming up. We'll be talking about Secret Invasion and breaking that down, and what we expect and what we see going forward and everything like that as far as the MCU. Y'all stay tuned for that, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.